And as we are settling into our meditation, let us experience the present moment as it expands into eternity. Let us feel comfortable in that space. And as I said a moment ago, let yourself go in whichever direction you feel that you would like to go, or perhaps your guides are nudging you. We are here to do retrievals, but if you find yourself doing a spirit contact rather than someone who is lost and confused and needs help, that is good too. Sometimes people just need to be spoken to kindly or understandingly. So, with that preamble, let us move up out of our physical bodies. Let us rise in our spirit bodies upwards and out of the room we are in and the building we are in. And once we are free of those encumbrances, let us give ourselves the permission to move in any direction, to any level of spirit that you think would be useful or interesting or exciting to explore. And if I'm not mistaken, all of you are here today are experienced, so I will give no further instructions. And enjoy your time away. And we will reconvene in 15 or so minutes and share our experiences.
Gordon, they're
Yes.
starting to come back now.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Oh, what do you think, David? Should I?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go.
Okay, friends. Welcome back. I just got back myself, actually. I kind of got caught up in that last retrieval. So, welcome back, and make sure and bring all aspects of your spirit and emotions back with you. Don't leave anything there. And get focused on this world, this place that you are in physically. Get settled, and when you feel like it, uh, share your experience with us. Okay, thank you, David.
Sure. So there's no pressure here. You don't have to tell us anything unless you want to. If you had an experience and you want to share it, please raise your hand. If it doesn't even have to be a retrieval, as Gordon. Well, I meant raise your hand on the Zoom thing. Yeah. Gordon said before, even if you just have some kind of a connection that's not a retrieval, that's fine. Even if you got something that's not barely that, it's fine. Anything is fine. That's how we do it here. So, Susie, I think you were first. So unmute yourself and go ahead.
Oh, to go first. Gosh.
Hi, Susie.
Okay. Hi. I hope I'm trusting all aspects of me are back. This one I did not. I'm really kind of shaken. Um, I mean, before we even kind of logged off, I and I hope this wasn't like conjured up in my head. I don't know how it could have been, but I like almost immediately was um okay, I'm just gonna go with it. I wrote it down. I was like immediately taken to the ocean, which is interesting. Big surprise there. And I was just enjoying the freedom of, just that. And I this was all done through imagery. But I could see below there was a plane. Um, and I could see, quote unquote, plain as day, like a red circle on the plane. And then through kind of like imagery, because it's not really talking. I apologize, I'm still a little shaken up, but I didn't expect this. So I saw the red circle on the plane, and there was I don't want to be politically incorrect, but there was Japanese suicide bomber. Basically stuck. Um, and then I felt that we were, above water or safe, so to speak. It wasn't like I was swimming underwater to save this guy. And because we know that we're in spirit, obviously working with them. And so I could tell he was very frightened, and was talking. And I do know that the talking I couldn't understand. But it was, erratic talking, very just it was a feeling. And then he kept like motioning, and I didn't know what he wanted, crazy. Okay, so the next thing I know, he wanted a cigarette. I guessed, and it appeared it was there. He seemed to kind of calm down, but the guy, he was definitely in. So let's see. Okay. Okay, and I said, like, so he explained through imagery that he did not fulfill his mission. And I don't know whether it was a bomb that was supposed to be released. That's kind of the feeling I got. Apparently he froze. And then I was shown the imagery of, I'm going to say Pearl Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And I could literally feel for, I would say, longer than an instant, probably the same thing that this person felt. And it was fire, screaming, death, even though we know it just that physical. And so that's a feeling I was shown as Pearl Harbor. So all I felt that I could do was assure him that he's safe, and he did accomplish exactly what he was supposed to accomplish. And I think what he did, the feeling I had was he couldn't follow through with what he was supposed to. And technically, he was a suicide bomber, and he just flew into the ocean.
Yeah.
And the feeling I also was shown was that it was definitely a purposeful fly into the ocean. Part of what his fear has been is to face the squadron. I guess just fearing that he would be a coward. So I did just all I felt like I could do was just because I started to feel like right now I'm shaky and have anxiety. I don't feel great. But so I just told him, I said, you did exactly what you were supposed to. There's no one to face. You are free. You are free. And I feel like I was shown two angels, which I'm surprised because usually I see guides but it was two angels, and then he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, before I kind of came back, and I feel like this was in my own head, I was questioning why are archangels always portray as men. And I came back with that. It was sort of like, I don't think I've ever seen any depiction of an angel, other than a goddess, but the actual angels that, we were taught and that we do know are around us. But anyway, that was kind of a lot more than I was expecting on my on my third
Yeah.
So I did get that feeling though of that way of like I feel lifted in the sense that I feel that this man was that he's this person, obviously this person's okay. We know that. We know this person's okay, but because of the physical imagery and how frightened this person was, and all I could think was this guy's been stuck, just stuck, and in death there is no time. I shouldn't say death. You guys know what I mean. But time-wise, in in this physical realm, it's like this guy's been down there for just stuck because of fear.
Yep.
And that's what kept him
Hmm.
there. So I hope I don't sound crazy.
No, not at all.
Well, not at
Okay.
all.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Susie, and be assured that that is not uncommon. In John Climo's book, Suicide, What Really Happens in the Afterlife, I don't know, published maybe 10 years ago, there are many cases from different mediums, I might add, of contact with suicide, Japanese suicide dive bombers, and also Muslim suicide bombers, who strap the
Right, right.
explosives to their chest or whatever. And they often get stuck somewhere in, in the lower realms of spirit. So I'm quite confident that that's what you experienced,
Okay.
and don't feel that it was your imagination.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how my imagination could take me there, but well, I'll tell you my solar plexus, and I'm just now I don't know what to do now. It's like I know this guy's okay now, but it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
heavy.
It seemed
What
really
I'd,
it seemed really authentic to me too.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
What I'd like to say, Susie, is the shakiness will disappear after a while. The more and more that you do these, and the more you realize that you're doing a service for these people and helping them, that'll go away.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
guys. Thank you. I feel blessed I was able to help.
Exactly. Yep. That's why we're doing these things, to help these people. Okay, Denise, please unmute, please.
Okay, mine was very interesting, and I'm curious to hear Gordon's feedback. So we go into the meditation, and I always usually have something when we're supposed to, go through the healing. Well, today, the energy that's been going around that, Marge was talking about is crazy off the chart. So I started doing Reiki to my feet, grounding myself the last couple of days. And when we got to that point where we're supposed to go through the healing, I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay. For the first time, I'm like, I wanted, I'm like, no, I'm working on grounding. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, where's this going? And I'm like, okay, they always take me somewhere. And next thing you know it, I could hear both of my dogs breathing, and normally I don't hear them breathe. And I have two toy poodles, and usually one's on the right and one's on the left, but not always. Sometimes it's just one of them, but it's like I felt the dog on the right and the left because I heard one, it's almost like it was more in my right ear and then my left ear. And I thought, oh, that's strange. And then the breathing on the left side started getting a little labored. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like a human. That doesn't sound like a dog. And I thought that was strange. But then I felt a male energy come in right here and say, when I come back in my next lifetime, I want to be your dog. But it was a man. But I found the exchange interesting because my mother has said that on many occasions, that when she comes back, like she's Roman Catholic, doesn't even believe in reincarnation. He has on multiple occasions said when she comes back, she's coming back as one of my dogs. Just because of I treat my dogs very, very well. But then I thought that was strange, but then I'm like, oh, I get it. So it felt like it was a ghost that was channeling through my dog on the left. And then it got me into the thinking of, yeah, you can come back as a dog. And my mom said it. Why did this man say it? You know what I mean? What's going on? And I'm like, so if there's a male ghost here and he's channeling through dogs because he wants to come back as a dog in his next lifetime, you do realize that, you can make that decision when you get to the other side, and you can tell him, I want to come back as a dog. You can even come back as one of my dogs. But I'm really good to my dog, whatever. And then I'm just thinking, okay, that's a strange conversation. And then the next thing, I started thinking about my dog and Leah, and that dogs can reincarnate into one of your other dogs, and off on this. And then next thing you know, I can't hear my dogs breathing anymore, my one on my right or the one on my left. And I'm like, okay, so did the guy go, or what's going on, or whatever. Next thing I know of it, David said it's time to come back. And I come back and I open my eyes, and there wasn't a dog on my left. There's only one dog in my right. So I didn't know if that was a visitation from my dog Leah, but it was a man talking to me. What the heck was that all about, Gordon? I'm hoping you can give me some feedback on that. There wasn't even, that the dog that, that had the labored breathing that sounded like a man, that then the man started talking to me. I didn't even have a dog on my lap.
Did you start the meditation with two dogs sleeping on either side of you?
No, I didn't. I didn't pay attention, to that, But there wasn't when I came up. The other dog was, in the other room. I wasn't thinking there was only one. But in that moment, in the meditation, I heard the breathing on the right and the breathing on the left, and it snapped me out of the here and now, and it brought me into, why can I hear my dogs breathe, and why can I hear one of them out of my right ear and one out of my left ear, and and then it got labored, and then it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like a dog, that sounds like a person, and then a man came in and started talking to me.
Yes.
And I got the impression that he was channeling, just the spirits channeled through us, and Jimmy Carter comes in or whatever. I felt that this was a ghost, like channeling through dogs, or wanted to be a dog when he came back in his next lifetime, because he brought that up to me, because that's like something my mom said. So it was strange and interesting, and then there wasn't a dog there. So I don't know, what was that?
So are you saying there were no physical dogs sitting by you when the meditation was going on? Am I hearing you correctly?
There was one. There was only one. There was one on my right side when I came out of it.
Okay.
Not on my left.
Then you heard the other one on the left.
On the left.
Labored breathing, and then the fellows labored breathing, and then he started to speak.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have a straight answer for that, but there are definitely souls that didn't really enjoy their last life and feel that becoming a cared for pet in a loving home might be just the ideal thing to do in the next incarnation. Now, whether it actually is the ideal thing to do, I'm not sure, because people do have desires before they reincarnate, and some of them are, a little pie in the sky. Some people might want to be, a millionaire CEO. Some others might wish to be a princess with a huge wardrobe and lots of servants. Whatever, or a famous film star. But when they get onto Earth in a body, they realize, maybe not immediately, that that's not easily realizable. But that doesn't stop them from having strong imaginative fantasies about doing that sort of thing when they're still in spirit. And they may have been, advised by their guides that's not really a wise choice, or that's not doable. But lots of people don't really listen to their guides particularly. They feel strong in their own desires and ambitions. And sometimes it takes coming to Earth and finding out that desires and ambitions are not always enough. That's what that man felt like that to me. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to reincarnate as a dog for the love and care that you're going to get if you have come from an uncaring, harsh incarnation before. But I personally wouldn't think it would be advisable if I was the guide. But that's my opinion. And you can advise souls as they're about to reincarnate, but you can't force them to do anything. You just can advise them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In that situation, I wasn't really sure, what was going on. And I didn't realize that, in the moment that I didn't even have a dog to me on the left side,
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really sure. And that's all I could think of was to say, well, when you get to the other side, you can do whatever you want to do. I didn't know what else in the moment, because it was interesting. But yeah, I definitely felt like, it's almost like it was almost like a mist, like, Like then I almost saw him as a mist going through different dogs. You know what I mean? Like this was something he liked to do, was channel through dogs. Which I thought.
Yeah, I could see that would be possible, since a lot of people like yourselves are really close to their pets and wouldn't necessarily be so shocked by sensing a human consciousness within that pet.
Yeah.
Others might be, but there's lots of people that wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Susie had a question, actually, Denise, I think, in the chat.
Thank you, beautiful.
Pardon?
Julia. I had a real quick question, Denise. Did you happen to know what colors the dogs were?
Yes. Well, but my dogs are poodles, and they're apricot.
Okay. But what colors did you happen to see what colors the dogs were?
No, it was more of a knowing, because it was you know what I mean? It was more like physical mediumship, because I actually heard labored breathing from, you know what I mean, from my dogs. It started with the breathing, then it got into labored, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's human. And then next thing you know, it's like, then it's back to like right now, I can't hear my dog. I normally don't hear my dog.
Am I being too personal to ask what breed Leo was?
He was a poodle.
Okay.
He was a teacup. Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian, you go ahead.
So at the beginning of my meditation, I just said out that I have no agenda for this meditation. Just take me where we will, where my assistance is needed. So then I saw an image, and I saw a part of a bird, a tail, but it was really like gray, hazy, and I said, okay, I want to see something more clearly, not those gray pictures again. And then I saw a swan, and it became really vivid. It was swimming on a lake, and this image stayed with me. Like I saw the swan swimming, and I was looking at it, and I was questioning, okay, yeah, you are beautiful, that's cool. So, but what's the point? Is it maybe symbolic? So I was, but the vision keep remained. So I saw the swan was swimming, looking at me. And then it was more than one, and I still didn't know what it means. So, but then I let go. Like I had like this is a retrieval. Let's bring me a retrieval. But then I let it go. And okay, whatever is, I accept. I have no agenda. So I was keep watching the swan, and then I got the idea. Maybe I need to follow it, and maybe it will bring me somewhere. So I did that, and it really take me somewhere. There was a change in scenery. I went into a forest environment, a jungle type, and I saw someone there, a man, like dark skinned. I didn't didn't get a clear picture of his face, but just the idea that he's there. And I asked him, hello, how can I help you? And he said that he's here to help me. And he said that he has a gift for me. I say, oh, okay, well, so what's the gift? So he reached out his hands and gave me something. He said that I should put it in my heart, and it will allow me to speak my truth with courage. And all right, I was a bit hesitating, like that's unusual. So, but what did I have to lose? So I did. I put it, and I felt something. It's kind of difficult to describe. And then I received an affirmation, like something that I can say, that it was like, may the doors and ways and paths open to allow me to shape back to my true nature. And if I speak my truth with courage, it is who I truly am. And then in the end, he said, remember who you are. And then I was just digesting it all. It was enough as an experience to receive all this. So I was just sitting there, digesting it, and then it was over. So no retrieval this time, but it was interesting.
I have a
Oh,
question.
thank you for that.
Yeah, I got a question. Now, Susie, you put there in the chat, I flashed a swan a few minutes ago. What do you mean by that? Flashed it by flashing a swan?
Well, I saw an image of a swan.
Well, Susie said something too.
Yeah, before Adrian started talking, I flashed on a swan and I immediately thought of Julia. But then Adrian started talking and it was just a little mind-boggling.
I mean, you saw an image of a swan? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like a quick.
Yeah.
Snapshot.
And here's something.
She actually said it. I didn't heard it. I'm just asking.
I put it in the chat that Mar said something and I kind of responded. So I wouldn't have just brought in that, I don't think. But I
Yeah.
did. I flashed on a swan. Actually, I've been seeing a swan most of the morning. Not seeing anywhere because there's
Oh,
no.
and one more thing. When I was seeing a swan, an idea came to me that maybe the swan has meaning for someone else here. But then I just, no. So I just, it's not that. But it was an idea in my head as well.
I think that we're connected a lot of ways because now listen to this. I'm a painter, and I just painted a swan.
Oh, geez.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
It's on the wall. I can't show it to you because I don't know. I'm going to send you, Adrian, a picture of it.
All right.
Yeah, I just finished it, and I was looking at it before the meeting today.
Oh, my
The
God.
swan? It was a swan?
It's a single swan. He's white, and he's in the water's blue. I'll show it to you
And
later.
Can you
and
send it to me
you
too,
drew
David?
it today, or?
Pardon me? Yeah, I'll
I
email it
just-
to you after the meeting. Yeah, it's blue water with some brown weeds around it. That's all it is.
Jesus
Can you send it
Christ.
to me too?
Sure.
Because even
I'll send both.
before I joined, I kept feeling a swan. And I do think Julia did leave. Yeah. I don't know. It might have been too much.
It
for
could
her.
be.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's
And yeah, it was surprising that the vision of the swan was really persistent. Like when I see a thing, like it's there and then it goes away, but it remained. It was there, and I was keep seeing it.
oh wow.
I know in like the dream group that I'm in and the Gash group, the longer that we're there, the more connections we have with the different members of the group. We see some of the same things and feel the same way, and it's really very interesting. And this might be happening here too.
You say might be.
Yeah, it's weird because I had Canadian honkers fly over the Keys, and I envisioned a swan though. It was, you know how certain things like different signs will come through and then it sort of triggers something else. So for whatever reason, that flock of geese, I've been kind of flashing on a swan all morning. But it was the geese that triggered it. I get, well, you guys know what I mean. Because I'll have like, say if, like an example, if I happen to see somebody that might be a grandpa, like, and then all of a sudden I get a feeling about my grandpa or something, and it might be going off on a tangent, but I'm big on signs, on paying attention to signs.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know what. So I saw a swan out of the geese. There it is.
Gordon, did you want to say anything about that?
The swan?
Just Adrian's adventures today.
Yeah, always interesting. And Adrian comes up with some fascinating stuff every week. And even though he didn't do a retrieval today, Adrian, I felt the imagery and the situation with the person handing you something to put in your heart was quite significant. I mean, it never struck me that you were weak in your heart chakra before, but maybe you thought so yourself and manifested this situation where you would be given a gift to install in your heart chakra.
Yeah, maybe it is to reinforce something or become more conscious of it.
Yes.
And I also was given this as an affirmation that I can say. So.
Well, if it gives you're talking about courage to speak your truth. Well, that's certainly an important thing. And perhaps you feel that you need that. And if you do so, then you probably do.
Well, I kind of did it now, so and it worked out with this one.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, talking about courageousness to speak your truth, I think some or all of you know that Wendy Zammit has posted 9 of our Zoom meetings up on her site, and you can look at them anytime you want. And the one I looked at happened to be the one where you spoke about encountering and interacting with the Sasquatch.
That was
Okay, can you repeat that?
The one of the videos of our Zoom group, there's 9 of them up online now, posted by Wendy on her site. The one I happened to look at, because let's say there's 9 of them, so that's like 9 hours. I looked at it and saw the section where you were speaking about interacting with the Sasquatch.
It's the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So you talk about courage to speak your truth, Adrian. I'd say that takes a lot of courage because, a lot of people don't believe that Sasquatches, A, are real, and B, interact with us. But you obviously, I wouldn't say anyone in this group would be that way, but generally that would be the approach that people would have.
Yeah, you tell me.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that took a lot of courage, and I was just thinking that the other day when I was looking at it.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for that as well.
Sure.
And Dave, you said that you will send me this when. So do you know my email or something?
Yep, I have it. I have both.
Okay.
And I've got everybody's email that's here.
All right.
I'll send it. Okay. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, Larice, you're next. Go ahead and unmute.
Okay, well, I was considering not sharing this time because it was all about me. But after I heard a few people's, I thought, well, maybe. I started out just kind of floating around like I do sometimes. And it didn't seem like much was happening. And so I said to my guide, where should we go this time? And, because I know there's always plenty of people that need help. And he started to take me to some places where you wouldn't think that anybody would, where there would be too many problems, and show me, well, it turned out to be these kind of little pieces of myself that had gotten jammed in these places where I was trying to help. Like I would do whatever in the name of helping and these weren't all in this lifetime either, so some of them were like religious organizations or different things, where my intention was to help, and I got jammed up in however that thing had been twisted, which happens a lot here. And I said, this is a time for me to be, serving and helping others. And he said, you do that a lot better if you get yourself together. So the whole thing was going to these different places, and some of them I was really surprised about, and retrieving parts of myself like you would in a shamanic soul retrieval, except usually you do that for somebody else. But I mean, here it was happening to me, and my guides were helping me do that and put it all back together. So it was kind of disconcerting.
Yeah, that sort of thing can be troubling if you've previously been in denial about the parts of yourself that you have left at various places and traumatic incidents in the past.
I think to some degree I have been. It was sort of like I have been, lately I have seen an image a few times in my mind of, people who harm themselves. Like they might cut themselves or stuff like that. And I was told, you do this, but you do it internally. And I was like, oh God, So that's what I'm going through right now.
I see. Yeah, that can be a little stressful if you're having to face some unpleasant or difficult situations from the past. I understand.
That was very good, Larice, because Gordon's talked about that before. He says in the meditation to make sure you retrieve all your pieces. And that sounds like kind of an example of what you just went over.
And these are like pieces I didn't know about this time. Because I try to keep myself together as much as I can, the things that I know about. But these are places where I wouldn't have expected to lose something. And I had. And I was like, okay, let's just do it.
Any other comments for Larice here? How about you, Gordon? How did you have a retrieval during the meditation?
Oh, yes. Well, at first I wasn't sure what to do, and I was thinking it over, and a guide spoke and said, I've got something for you, Gord. And I said, oh, okay, I'll follow you. So we went someplace very quickly, and it seemed to be the thought form of a wrecked building in Gaza, where people had gathered. And I was thinking what I'd heard with the peace that had been declared by the two warring factions. It didn't take effect immediately, and there was sporadic outbreaks of fighting and killing after the peace was sort of initially announced, if you like. So I thought, oh, these must be fairly recent people. And it was a mixed group of, I don't know, at least 15. And they were huddled in what they thought was the remaining room of a building that had been shelled, and most of it was knocked away. And they were, I assumed they were ready to be retrieved, and I spoke to them, and they didn't immediately trust me, and were not receptive to my suggestions that we could move on. So I had to talk them into it. And then there was a bit of debating amongst themselves. Some were keen to move on. Others were like, that thing that I've heard from other people in Gaza. How do we know you're going to take us to the paradise that we belong in? And perhaps I just looked too Western. And I tried changing my appearance, but you can't really, once you've presented yourself to a group of people who are looking at you and you change your appearance, it looks like kind of fake. Other groups of people might find it amusing, but others that are coming from a distrustful viewpoint, it just makes things worse, that you're some kind of a deceptive magician or something. Anyway, that took quite a while. Most of the time period of the meditation, I was doing that. And I finally convinced them to move on and put a thought bubble around them and moved them to a reception center. And we're standing there, and they don't quite see the reception center at first. It was kind of like, well, what do we do now? And I pointed out where the reception center was across an area that was sort of like a grassy area. And there was a building over there, but they had to walk toward it. And then somebody came out of it and waved to them and spoke loudly in what I assume was Arabic. and brought them over, and off they went. And left me behind, which was fine. And that took most of my time, and then quote unquote time. And I wondered about, the guide said, oh, maybe you could do something else while you're here. And I said, well, we don't have much time, but he said, oh, come and have a go at this. So we're in a very snowy situation on a road with crashed cars, and maybe 5 or 6 people that had passed in some big pileup somewhere. And they seemed to sort of realize that they were dead, but a couple of them were quite miffed about having their cars wrecked, really quite annoyed. And a couple of them were definitely standing around trying to protect their cars that they thought might be stolen because they weren't that badly damaged. So, they were kind of like, well, what are you going to do for us, kind of thing. A couple of annoyed men, I think. And so I worked with them for a little bit, knowing that our meditation was coming to an end. And I did finally sort of get them to move on. And they were still a little cynical. They're all adults as far as I could see. And at least 2 of them said, oh, so this is paradise. And I go, yeah, it's one of them. Enjoy yourselves and come worry about your cars later. They didn't seem to be worried that they were dead. They seemed to be all miffed about their wrecked cars. Anyway, that was a first for me. So then I think David said something to me. So I kind of unloaded them fairly quickly and said, sorry, I got to go. And then I was back here with you guys.
That's good, because, usually that's the most detail that you went in since we started this, because you're unselfish and just keep them back. And now you're starting to tell us.
Oh, okay. Well, I hadn't thought of that, David. Like I say, the second one, and then after I was done, I remembered very quickly that yesterday or the day before, I'd seen images from a snowstorm in the Seattle area, where the one of the major highways experienced like an 80-car pileup or something. I didn't get into the details. I just saw the image and saw the headline. Yeah. And maybe that's what it was. I didn't think to ask, but it could have been that.
Okay. Does anybody else want to share their stories, or are we all talked out now? If not, the next time we're going to meet is Wednesday, March 5th. That's the first Wednesday in March. We meet on the 1st and the 3rd Wednesdays. So everybody have a good... You go ahead, Gordon.
I was going to say, nothing from Julia or Mark?
Well, Julia left.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Julia left, and I think I kind of overstepped, quite honestly. So I will have to contact her later.
Well, we both kind of did, I think.
Yeah, but do you guys know the situation with her and her son? Okay. So everybody knows about it. So I think maybe the information was a little too overwhelming for her. But at first I thought, oh my God, she told me about this, and maybe it's supposed to be a secret, and she's very private, so you shouldn't have said anything about the swan. So I'm hoping that's not it, but I'll contact her later. I have her email and I'll give her a shout. David, I do have something to say, but mine isn't probably as nice as yours, David. You were saying you had about 3 retrievals. Can we hear one of yours? Do we have time? I'd rather you go first than me. I don't need to share today.
I'll do it quickly, because I think people might be getting tired. But as I talked about before, I have like 2 ways of doing it. One is the way that we just did it. or that everybody here does it. And then my second way that I get about 50% of the time is I get a dream. And the dream is about a death. And I see the death. And that's what happened with the one that I'm going to tell you. In this dream, and the funny thing is a lot of times in the dream, the person that I'm trying to help over, it's portrayed as I'm the one that's in the dream. It's like it's a play, and I'm the actor taking the part of the victim. And that's what happened with this. And so the dream is I was outside at a cottage in the country with another colleague. We had just arrived when we noticed a sports car, about a 1940 sports car, in the driveway with a stranger in the car. The stranger got out and said that he was looking for me. My colleague told him to get lost and told me not to identify myself. The strange man drove off. Later, I took a shower in the cottage, and the strange man appeared at the bathroom door. We fought, and my colleague appeared also. He appeared to be in collusion with the man. I feared for my life, and then I awoke. And then after that was a dream that happened one night, and I wrote it down. I woke up, I went to my desk, and I wrote it down. And then the next day, I got back on it again because I can go back again and talk to these people. And I said, and it was telepathy. That's how it works with me, and visions. And let's see. I think I asked again, there was something the strange man and my colleague wanted to steal. Okay, I know. I said, what happened? I'm talking to the man that I was portraying. He said, this is what he said. There was something, the strange man that was in the car and my colleague wanted to steal from me. So the two were in cahoots, something valuable they wanted to steal from me, and they killed me for this item. And so I said, well, what did you do for a living? He said, I was some sort of an important professor that had access to historical items many centuries old that was of big value. Okay, so then I wrote that down, and then I came back a couple of days later, and I went back again. And it's the way I do it is I take these walks in the nature path. And so here's my telepathy number 2 at a later date. Here's me. Tell me more about the dream. Okay, and the man says, well, my name was Carl, and I was a university professor in archaeology. On a past trip to Egypt, I was given an invitation and special tour of a burial site. The Egyptian government gave me a personal gift of an item that was found at the site. It was small enough to carry in my suitcase back to the States. There was only one friend I trusted, another professor, with my secret, and I showed it to him. A betrayal of him was the furthest thing from my mind. I won't go into the murder, but the intruder killed me in the summer cottage with the help of my friend. The financial worth of the small gift that I received was huge, and it was a simple robbery that also included a murder. Here's my next question to him. Why didn't you complete your crossing? Carol says, a lot of it had to do with my anger and disbelief of my colleague who had betrayed me. He was the one friend I trusted with the secret of what I had in my possession. Afterlife helpers worked with me over a period of time. They told me that now I had moved into another dimension where my vibration was higher. There were multiple ways that I could help other archaeologists on the earthen plane explore hidden discoveries that still existed, that I could help plant ideas into their heads on how to proceed with their explorations and even hints of where to look. They were just telling me that I could help other archaeologists on the earth with the knowledge that I knew, now that I'm a spirit. I was told that when I was on earth, I was assisted by many spiritual archaeologist guides, and that I could now be one of these guides myself. Then I said, so are you ready to proceed with the crossing? Carol says, yes, these guides that I spoke of that assisted me while I was on earth with my profession will assist me now in moving forward. 2 of them appeared, and the 3 of them walked away into the light. Okay, there's a little bit more because after this, before this meeting, I went out one more time to that nature trail, and to find out if there's anything else that I could find out. And I did. I got back into it again with the telepathy, and I said, Carl, do you remember the article that had what it looked like that was stolen from you, that valuable thing? Carl says, it was the size of the half of a banana, cut in half, kind of oblong and gold. It contained the figure of an owl. Then I asked him, Carl, as an Egyptian researcher, the ancient Egyptians believed in many gods. Did you find any truth to them when you were a professor? Carl answers, I did, but I dared not say anything in fear of what happened to some of my colleagues who spoke out and were demoted and let go. So that's the way it went. That was my crossing.
Wow.
They're just
fascinating. Thank you.
I got to write it down and read it because there's just so much that I just, you forget it really easy unless you get it down right away.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm glad you do that, David.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's one other guy that I know that I work with a little bit that has a stream thing also. And I think working with him a lot, it kind of rubbed off on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see.
Okay. So I guess that's it for today, everybody.
Okay, well, thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your experience, and we'll think it over for the next few days, and look forward to seeing you in, was it the 5th, as David said? And don't forget, there's
Wednesday. It'll be on the Friday report.
Don't forget, we've got 9 recorded videos of this Zoom group that Wendy Zamet has up on her YouTube channel. And there's, if you're wanting to re-experience something, I can't tell you which one's which in terms of, if you're looking for something, you may just have to look, but they're all there. There's lots of them there, and have fun checking them out when you've got a chance.
See you.